In terms of personality, I think he would have to be respected. I have met him like about 4 times. I met him in President Obasanjo's house. I met him, I think I was one of the people that screened him for president. I met him in now President Tinubu's house at a time, and so on as that. A total of, he was an incredibly simple man.
Oh yes, that's what
and I also
says.
traveled with President Obasanjo when he went to deliver Arewa lecture. We also stopped in his house in Kaduna. So he's an extremely simple man. But how he was able to translate his ethos to national government, I'm not sure he was able to achieve that.
Okay.
So in Africa, we say we don't talk evil of the dead. So we can only say, may his soul rest in continued peace. With regard to Awujale, it's an interesting issue because his death also raised an interesting issue between religion and tradition.
Indeed.
Indeed. Which is quite interesting. How do you now merge it? He occupied a traditional seat.
Yes.
But an exceedingly religious personality in terms of Islamic faith.
Yes.
And at the end of it all, he chose that he would like to be buried, not according to the Yoruba tradition, but according to Islamic faith. I believe that in future, this issue will generate a lot of debate and opinion within particularly the Yoruba cosmological thought.
Yeah.
You know, so...
but as you recall, he had actually worked towards making his preference for himself into a law.
Yes.
So people can say that it is legal if you want to use that particular thing. But the number of traditionalists, Yoruba traditionalists, who are taking exception to, look, there is a difference. You know, that is how they're looking at it, that there is a difference. You know, it's a traditional stew, as we've just said. You came in traditionally.
Yes, yes.
But now you've decided that you want to exit, you know, it differently. And it is his right to do, because as I said, he had caused it to be made into law.
But that's why I said that there's going to be a continued debate on the issue within Yoruba ontological and cosmological thought.
Yes.
Because now, if you are going to go to become a king in Yoruba land, or even a major traditional chiefs, I'm sure they're going to put it down.
Yes.
Have you accepted to follow the path of tradition in terms of your office, your burial, and so on and so forth? So that's why I said it's going to continue.
You know, as you said, sir, it's going to be a very interesting one, because even though the governor is the person who appoints, you know, but you see, the governor does so on advice.
Yes.
And on advice from the kingmakers. The kingmakers themselves take their own standpoint from the Ifa oracle.
Yes.
Nobody can make anybody a king if
you
the
cannot
Ifa
become a king
without
unless,
your Ifa oracle.
Yes.
You know.
That is it. You have to consult the Ifa.
Exactly.
And the Ifa will now decide. This is out of many contestants.
Yes.
You know, Ifa will now say, according to Yoruba tradition, this is the person that is fit for that office. So, but I also believe that having achieved that, even before we get to that stage of consulting Ifa, I'm sure in traditional Yoruba now, among the kingmakers, they're going to first of all get an undertaking that you succumb and subscribe to traditional processes, not only in terms of your emergence as a king, but your authority, disposition of your authority, and what happens to you at the end of your tenure. I believe that discussion, because you can see the reaction of the traditionalists.
It was,
they feel offended.
They did. They did feel offended.
It's going to be
so you've departed from the ways of our ancestors.
So if you know that you cannot follow the tradition, you have some kind of reservation.
Yes.
Then why to become a king? You understand? You might as well become either a pastor, a bishop, or an imam or whatever. You can choose that. But if you now choose to be a king, you know, then you must obviously have accepted, you know, the tradition of our people. So that is why the discussion will continue, you know. In fact, he has raised a very serious issue.
Indeed. You know? So we'll leave that as I said. It's going to keep on coming back.
Yes.
Because it's...
it will be a continued dialogue.
It's a paramount thing in Yoruba land.
Yes.
Yes, we do have Christian and Muslim Obbas in Yoruba land.
Heretofore, it has always been like that.
But the part of the traditional Ifa
has always been dominant, as a matter of fact.
It has been dominant.
Yes.
Okay, but to go back now, sir, to the constitutional review ongoing now.
Yes, yeah.
It seems to be centering around a number of issues. Number one, people want, well, it is thought that let's talk about it, state police.
Yes.
That's one. Let's talk about state police. The second one, I think, is...
distribution of the wealth of the nation.
That.
You know,
yes.
Your right over the wealth of the land within your state or community, and so on and so forth.
Now,
you know, and even issue of local government, you know, authority.
And then states, more states.
Yes.
You know, people, it is a question, a talking point. Yes. Are we ripe for more states? And I think we were reading over the weekend between Abia and what is the neighboring state? They've decided. They've decided. You know, on the one hand, one point of view is that yes, we do require more states. The others are saying that not really. We don't really require more states. So again, it's not cut and dried yet. But how should we look at this particular question?
I'm not sure. You must know my opinion about this issue. Me, I have no interest in discussing constitutional amendment. There is confusion in the heads of the legislature of this nation. Serious confusion. The Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Where you will see the disorder in this nation is even the process of amending the Constitution. I mean, there's nowhere, absolutely nowhere in the world, except in Nigeria, where when you want to amend the Constitution, you go from zone to zone, collect mechanics, food vendors, teachers, and so on and so forth. You start to discuss with them. Constitutional is ludicrous. And they know this is the problem. If you look at even this Constitution, Section 9, what does it say? A bill for the amendment of the Constitution must be adopted by 2/3 of the National Assembly, sent to the several states, the legislatures of several states. They adopted about 24 states, and that is it. And it does not go to the president, a proper amendment. But all the amendments we've done so far have gone to the president, you know, wrongly. So why have they gone to the president? It's very simple. Because the Constitution of Nigeria is treated like a law, like any other law. You know, no more law becomes a bill and it goes to the president for his assent.
Yes.
But if it is a constitution, a valid constitution, it does not go, because it is not a president that approves a constitution of the people. It does not go
it does not, and that's the strictly correct way to view this
matter.
To
amend a constitution, it does not go to because it is not a bill, it is not a mere law. A constitution is not law, but a constitution is what enables all laws. It deals with all issues of all times. A law deals with only one single issue in a state. In my book, Constitutional Powers and Duties of the President, page 14, I discuss 10 differences between a law and a constitution. Now, In the case of Nigeria, the tragedy of the nation is that this nation has great minds in every area, but our leaders don't take advantage of it. For example, has the National Assembly invited constitutional experts to discuss with them seriously, deeply, in the interest of Nigeria about the Nigerian constitution, including constitutional amendment? Not once. Between 1914 and 1960, this nation had at least 6 constitutions. 1914 Constitution, 1922 Constitution, 1946 Constitution, 1954 and 1960, and so on and so forth. And then after that, we continue another journey. Then 1963 Constitution, then again, the military came in 1966, then 1979, 1999. We have had endless constitutions and endless amendments. Why are we where we are as a nation, a great nation with great citizens, with fecundity, great minds, intellectual power, energy of mind, and we are where we are, still going around zones? Is that how to amend the constitution? Okay. Even this document is defeated by the process of amendment. But like I have told you, Mr. Folani, it is not a government that gives a nation a constitution. It is a constitution that gives a nation a government. Our constitution is unconstitutional. Okay. Because it was given to us by a government. And it is not the content of a constitution that validates it. It is the procedure of making a constitution. So all this amendment will not bring us, will continue to bring us an imperfect governmental system.
Let me take Mr. Olufemi in the UK. Good morning, Olufemi in the UK.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much. Very well, thank you.
Thank you so much. And my admiration to the gentleman with you, Dr. Abayomi.
Yes, Dr. Tunji Abayomi.
Legal constitutional lawyer.
Yes.
I really follow him very well. Now, regarding the Constitution of Nigeria, I think the current administration should go to any length to throw away every vestiges of the military. Whatever they have done in this country, whatever constitution they have left behind, has left this country polarized, divided. Whatever they have not done it in the interest of the country. They have done it in a very sectional way. It is not representative enough. If we are practicing democracy, we must have constitution that reflect the tenet of democratic norms. In Nigeria, what we have been practicing is aberration. Okay, I agree with Dr. Abayomi that they should invite every constitutional lawyer. Let them debate about it. Let them talk about it. It shouldn't be something that should be a no-go area. It's something that has to be discussed, debated. Let us agree. This country, there are so many dynamics, variables that need to be met. We need to agree. The Southeast, as we speak, feel marginalized in terms of state creation. That has to be looked into it, okay? We cannot equate a landmass to people. Okay, because these are the way and means of which our natural resources are being distributed in terms of money allocation to the state, okay, which is being done by local government, okay. There is a lot of disparity in this country, injustice that has been pronounced and has been part and parcel of our life. It is high time we should look into our eyes, eyeball to eyeball, and discuss this issue.
All right, then. I want to thank you very much, Olufemi in the UK. They are calling in there. He agrees entirely with you. But when you said it should not, if it is rightly done, go back to the president. Yes. So how should it work?
It's very simple. If you look at Section 9 of the Constitution, even this present Constitution, did he even say there it should go to the president? It does it with due respect. Even under Section 9 of this invalid, unconstitutional constitution, the procedure is very simple. Once it is passed by the state, by the national as two thoughts, it goes to the states, and that is it. It's just the same way.
Once 2/3 of the states of the country are ratified by at least 2/3 majority.
Yes. The presumption is that the people have adopted it.
Okay.
They represent the people. The constitutional making is largely the same way as constitutional amendment.
Yes.
When you make a constitution, does it go to anybody for assent? It doesn't. In the same way, when you amend, because the constitution is deemed to be the law, the document, the agreement of the people is not. It's an agreement of the people on how they want to be governed. So if you want to amend it, the people now represented by the legislature are now the one that will do exactly. The only thing is that different from the original constitution, because now the people have delegated their powers to these representatives. So each representative is representing the people. So in a sense, they are the people now. They now come together and take this decision. But because the National Assembly represents federal, the houses of assembly represent local, and so on and so forth. They now represent collectively as the people and adopt that constitution. A bill is different.
It is.
A bill does not go, for example, to the state houses of assembly. It is passed by the National Assembly, and it's a bill is assented to by the president, and the president can refuse to assent to it. If he refuses, you can overrule it. But that is different from a constitution. You know, so, but our people, because these guys don't study, they are not interested in knowledge or the orderly administration of government, because part of the reason is because the constitution carries death wound on its face. You know, it lied about itself that we the people, when we didn't give it to us. Even look at how it came into about the military said, whereas the people need a constitution, whereas the Constitutional Assembly have done this, and they amended this, and they now make it Decree 24 of 1999. As a matter of fact, the Constitution didn't even bring about government in our country. The Constitution came into effect May 29. After the legislations have been made, government, executive, everything was already constituted. It now came into force. And look at this amendment. The problem of our leaders is that they embarrass us. Can you imagine that amendment of the Constitution in Nigeria has taken trillions? When it does not have to take more than, it doesn't even have to take 1,000 naira. It does not have to take 1,000 naira if you follow the proper process of amendment. But because they are preoccupied with that money, going from zone to zone, consuming the money of the people, wasting it, disregarding their interest, they will go around doing the abnormal. The unthinkable, which is what they are doing now. The irrelevant.
Okay, you know, it's astounding when you said it, and you would know, as a constitutional lawyer, if they had gotten constitutional experts together at any point in time to come and advise them. But, you know, I'm taking this seriously because you said it. Because otherwise I would say, why would a place that is, you know, responsible for making laws, why would it not bring in the experts? You know,
or even study it. Oh, there are books.
Well, yes, they can study it, but I'm sure that every state in the country has access to constitutional experts. If they want to do it. But you've just said that, in your view, they know what they're doing. It's intentional.
Daniel Keremadu, who is now in jail in Britain, scrubbing the floor. That's what he's doing in the jail in the UK. He's scrubbing the floor in jail. During his tenure, billions of naira. That's why he was able to have houses everywhere, every country, stealing the wealth of the people. The same thing is what is still going on. Why do you need to spend all this money on purported constitutional amendment? Even This invalid unconstitutional constitution is neither amendable nor amendable. Do you amend the unconstitutional constitution and give it legitimacy? Okay. You are just a waste of time. And this nation will never go anywhere until we sit around the table. We are nations. I have said it on your program here. Nigeria is a unique nation where you have different nations divinely located in different parts of a geographical zone. Yoruba in the southwest, Igbo in the southwest, Ibio there, down there, Tiv in the center, Kanuri in the northeast, Fulani in the north, and you want to form a nation, a united nation. One of them will just impose their terms on you. The only sensible thing is to sit around the table and agree, like a cocoa farm. That is a common inheritance. You sit, you agree on how it is to be managed. But our leaders know. They know because the people of Nigeria, they're very intelligent. And they understand it. There are books. Many of them have spoken and taken position recently. There is the Petros. They spoke about it. I was one of the people that spoke to them on this issue when they had a conference, international conference, Institute of International Affairs, and so on and so. So they cannot pretend not to know, but they don't want to do the right thing for the people of Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Abayomi, because what you are saying, what I'm taking away from you is that the constitutional review exercise is one thing. You don't think our people have got it right yet.
An exercise in futility.
Okay, I didn't want to go as far, but since you went and added that, it's fine.
Yes.
That's what you think the current exercise is.
They will amend again next year. And I can tell you, they will amend. The next legislative section will again begin another amendment. You know, it's money consuming
almost like
process.
A jamboree.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Dr. Tunji Abayomi, we've got to leave it there. You are, nationally known constitutional lawyer as well as political affairs analyst. So thank you very much for coming to give us the benefit of your opinion, which is that we are not yet ready. It seems we're not yet ready, and when we're ready, we will know.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tunji Abayomi. Yes. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.
I am Sunday Shegun Harawande. I manage Top Chair Energy Limited, and we sell solar panel, inverter, and batteries. I've been dealing with Cornerstone Insurance for the past 8 years, and I got to know them through a friend of mine. I have a comprehensive motor insurance with Cornerstone Insurance because of our job requires us to move from point A to B. Often when I have issues with my car, I do make a claim. At times when there is an accident or theft. What actually impressed me the most about Cornerstone is their response. In fact, most of the time, they are the one that will be calling me to ask for the document and all the necessary things. My experience over the years with Cornerstone has been excellent. I've been recommending Cornerstone to virtually all my friends because it's a smart decision. They have integrity. Once you have issues, they respond. So why should I go and be paying for other insurance, which I know that there is one that is working for me for the past 8 years, and they have never failed me for once.
Cornerstone, the future assured.
I don't need to start worrying about rent.
Every Nigerian deserves a place to call home, and the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is turning that hope into reality. From groundbreaking projects, policy initiatives to life-changing mortgage solutions, discover how FMBN is actualizing dreams one home at a time.
Good evening and welcome to the program, everyone.
Join us every Friday at 8:30 p.m. on TVC for the program Everyone Deserves a Home. Brought to you by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN.
Hello, NIDA Impact lovers. We have good news for you. In the quest to keep Nigerians abreast of the happenings in the digital space, NIDA Impact, a flagship TV program of the National Information Technology Development Agency, is now showing here on Television Continental. It is, as always, educative, informative, and innovative. NIDA Impact. Keep a date with NIDA Impact, your guide to a digital Nigeria.
For over 6 decades, the Bank of Industry, BOI, has been driving Nigeria's industrial development through financial and business support services.
Bank of Industry is one organization that has kept their words with the Nigerian businesses.
I have been able to expand my business from catering, event management, into water production.
A single digit that Bank of Industry offers is the only solution to stay afloat.
BOI Impact, now showing Tuesdays, 9:30 p.m. on TVC News.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
The Inspector General of Police has met with senior officers to review the state of security.
We are continuing our coverage of the arrest of Godwin Emefiele.
The Senate has summoned the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to properly brief the Senate regarding the state of the economy.
What I will never take.
Let's now bring you more development from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where an explosion has taken place. Tell us about this incident.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and thank you for joining us on TVC Midday News. We start off with development in the nation's capital, where retired police officers are protesting the insufficient pension they received after serving in the force. The protesting retirees led by activist Omoyele Sowore rallied from the Louis Edet Force headquarters to the National Assembly gate to press home their demands. The officers recounted the paltry sums they got for retirement and heightened the call for the establishment of a police pension board to replace the current contributory pension scheme, which they have been subscribed to.
And those ones who are not dead are dead working people. They are working dead. So we decided today that the Nigerian people will join hands with you to fight this battle once and for all.
It shows that these people are wicked to us. It shows that they do not love us. A situation or a family that has up to 4 children and you love 3 and then you hate 1. It therefore means that there is bound to be quarreling and fighting in that very family. You love the military, you love the DSS, you love the civilians that are working in the National Assembly, that all these people, they were exonerated, they have gone out from contributory pension scheme, leaving behind the police that have been sleeping in the bush, sleeping in the forest, sleeping in the rain. Oh,
till 2004, I was not given 10 kobo. I did NYC. I was only given paid from 2004 to 2017, and I was given 2 million naira. I become a nuisance to my family. I'm a nuisance to my neighbors, and I'm a nuisance to my immediate family. Then where do you want me to go? I can't eat. I barely eat once a day. Sometimes I take common lifted to survive that day.
The Nigerian Police Force has asked protesting retirees to ensure that the exercise is not only peaceful but exemplary. In a statement by the force public relations officer, Muyiwa Dijobi, although some of this accounts are grounded in fact and driven by good faith, others have been marred by misinformation, emotional manipulation and calculated distortions designed to discredit the government and undermine the present leadership of the Nigeria Police Force. He emphasized that this is a call to institutional responsibility, a test of maturity and discipline. A senior reporter, Sifone Sen, joins me live from Abuja to talk about this protest. Sifo, good to have you join us. What are the primary concerns of these retired officers, and what's been the immediate response to this?
Basically, they want improved pensions. Currently, the police is subscribed to the contributory pension scheme. And for retired police officers, this is not okay. Even for 7 police officers, they anticipate that the same fate that has befallen their retired colleagues would befall them. So they want the police exited or extricated from the contributory pension scheme to a defined benefit scheme that, would see a situation where the police will have its own pensions board to cater to the needs of pension. And also looking beyond, retirement or before retirement, they also want improvement in conditions of service. They want it to be akin to what is obtainable in the Nigerian Armed Forces.
And from your own perspective, I mean, the concern about the welfare of police officers specifically is not a topic that has been raised today. But give us your own idea of what it's going to be like if they were to be removed from the contributory pension scheme and having their own pension board.
Before I come to that, let me just back up a little to the statement released by the force yesterday, which you read in one of the stories, and I quote, "The agitation for improved police pensions, particularly the call for exit from the contributory pension scheme, is not a recent development. It has spanned over a decade since 2014. Successive Inspector General of Police have demonstrated empathy, engaged critical stakeholders, and provided institutional support for this cause. Yet, despite these earnest efforts, the desired outcome has remained elusive, not for lack of will, but due to entrenched legal provisions, fiscal limitations, and administrative bottlenecks." End of quote. What we expect to see is, in the coming days, is that the National Assembly will dot its I's and cross the T's concerning the move, by the police to have its own pensions board, and institutionally, there would be a review of pensions across board for the Nigeria Police. It happened for the Nigerian Armed Forces. So, and recently, it happened, when improved terms of conditions of service were signed into law. So it's possible to happen for the Nigeria Police, and that's what they actually want to happen. And they want it to happen quickly. We saw weeks back a video that went viral of a superintendent of police. After 35 years of service, says he got a paltry sum of 3 million naira, which he says it was a far cry for his efforts in the Nigeria Police for 35 years.
I mean, after how many years, looking at the statement from the Nigeria Police Force itself, it seems as though their protest was not entirely out of place. You've covered defense for a while now. From your own perspective, how would you measure what they receive, comparing it to, their other counterparts in the military, the DSS, and all of that?
Well, there is a big gulf, a wide disparity between what we have heard and reported that police officers get, even as pay, as well as pensions, compared to their colleagues in the armed forces. It's a big gulf, It's like traveling from one point of the country to the other.
Right.
So that is that gap that the police wants to be closed. They want to be treated like other arms of the armed forces, being the lead policing agencies. That is what we gathered.
And now that they've taken their concern to the National Assembly, we're hoping possibly for a positive response to that situation. But thank you for talking to us at this time. That's our senior reporter, Sifone Sen, live for us in Abuja.
Thank you.
Another protest, but this time in Delta State, where a Shekiri natives are holding simultaneous protests at the Nigerian Port Authority in Warri South and Escravos Terminal in Warri Southwest. The protesters have shut the Tumara Flow Station over INEC's ward delineation in Warri Federal Constituency. They're demanding that justice be done over what they termed improper allocation of wards in the 3 local government areas by the Independent National Electoral Commission. We turn our attention to Katsina State, where Governor Diko Rada was involved in a minor accident. Governor Rada appreciated the people of Katsina State and well wishes for their prayers and concerns following a recent minor road incident along the Daura-Katsina Road. In a short video by the governor yesterday, he confirmed that he is currently under observation, in good health and in high spirits. President Bola Tinubu has described the Awujale of Ijebuland, Sikiru Adetono, as a leader of conscience and tradition who brought pride, dignity and honors to the traditional race. President Tinubu attended the 8th day prayer held at Ijebu. Our senior reporter, Kazim Olowe, has details.
It was a special visit of President Bola Tinubu to Ijebuland in Ogun State in honor of the memory of one of the longest-serving monarchs in Nigeria, Oba Sikiru Adetono, the Awujale of Ijebuland, who died at 91 years after spending 65 years on the throne. The president, who departed Abuja earlier today, touched down at the Gateway International Airport, Ikperu, in Ogun State and was received by Governor Dapo Abiodun and other eminent personalities in the state. He later proceeded to the private residence of Awujale in Ijebu, where he signed the condolence registers and met with family members. Speaking during the 8-day prayers held at Dipo Dino Stadium in Ijebu, the president described Awujale as a true monarch who was always there to support his people in times of needs. He confirmed the support and blessings of the monarch for his presidential ambition and during the struggles of June 12.
Our history would not have been completed carefully and richly if I had failed the last election. I was successful because of your support and the blessing of late Awujale.
The president also called for unity, consistency, and mutual respect in honor of the legacies of the departed monarch.
We have to be more united, bonded, and the spirit that he left behind. Cherish his legacy and appreciate him in death.
Governor Dapo Abiodun on his part described Oba Sikiru Adetono as an irreplaceable monarch who displayed truth and stood for good governance and development with transformative impacts. He described him as a voice of the voiceless, a man of integrity, and a reformer who brought prestige on the throne.
Baba was a man of exceptional intellect and also rare integrity. Even before ascending his throne, his brilliance and forthright nature shone brightly. He redefined traditional leadership, transforming the Awujale institution into a dynamic platform for good governance, national dialogue, and moral leadership.
Earlier in his sermon, the chief imam of Bagura, Kamaldeen Balogun, highlights the vanity nature of life and wants people to remember their end by doing good at all times, noting that death is inevitable and will come without notice.
We must relate this world with the Al-Akhirah. Coming to the world, it is involuntary. Taking our exit one day is inevitable. And it is inevitable and it is without notice.
The event was attended by notable personalities, including the wife of the president, Oluremi Tinubu, governors of Kwara, Ondo and Ekiti states, deputy governors of Lagos and Oyo states. Others include 3 former governors of Ogun State, ministers and members of the National Assembly. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Ijebu.
You're still watching TVC Midday News. We'll be back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrency.
Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate facts from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's take you to the National Assembly, where the Senate has once again clarified that there is no valid court order compelling the immediate recall of suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. In a statement signed by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, the Senate stressed for the third time that the recent ruling by Justice Binta Yako of the Federal High Court did not issue a mandatory directive for Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan's return to the chamber. The statement also mentioned that the court merely offered an advisory opinion suggesting the Senate may consider amending its standing orders and reviewing what it described as a possibly excessive suspension. The court also held that the Senate acted within its powers and violated no law or constitutional provision. And as part of effort to deepen democratic engagement and reforms, members of the House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review held a public hearing in Yenagoa. The session brought together key players from Edo, Delta, and Bayelsa State. Joseph Kunde has details.
In Yenagoa, various groups, including the Ijaw National Congress, participated in a solidarity walk to the DSP Alama Banquet Hall, where the event was held.
We are here to make a case for the creation of two additional homogeneous Ijaw states. One, Taraba State, comprising of Ijaw people from Delta, Edo, and Ondo. Then the Oyo River State, comprised of Ijaws in Akwa Ibom and River State.
The reserve seat is asking that in every state plus the FCT for the House of Representatives, we need one additional seat every state. That's 37 seats for the House of Rep. For the Senate, we're asking for one additional seat in every state plus the FCT. 37 seats for the Senate. Now back here in the state, we're asking for 3 additional seats.
Bayelsa hosted Team A of the House of Representatives Constitution Review Committee, where the committee consulted with key players from Edo, Delta, and Bayelsa on the proposed constitution reform.
Be rest assured that every document submitted to this committee will be very carefully reviewed, considered and presented to the full committee.
At the crux of our demands is a firm commitment to the establishment of a federal system and structure that is genuine, just, equitable, responsive, and demonstrably dedicated to the holistic development of our region and the people of the South-South.
Edo State is unequivocal in its demand that no portion of the territory of the present Edo State should be carved out to join other portions of other states for purposing of creating a new state for any group of individuals.
We therefore call for an upward review of the derivation formula to ensure that a greater share of the revenue generated from our land and waters is retained for local development.
The final draft of the amendment is expected to be sent to the State Houses of Assembly before the end of 2025 for ratification. Joseph Kunde, TVC News, Yenagoa.
Let's take you to Zamfara State, where Governor Dauda Lawal has flagged off the distribution of conditional cash transfer to 8,225 adolescents and girls selected across the state. The initiative targets children of the poor, internally displaced persons, and vulnerable households. Theophilus Darufai reports.
Zamfara state government had in recent past, through the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment Project, renovated 174 schools and non-formal learning centers across the state. Now, 40 more schools have been penciled down for reconstruction and upgrade, bringing the total to 214 out of the 320 schools targeted under the Agile Project Phase 2. At a formal presentation of contract award letters to local contractors through the school improvement grants to 40 additional technical service providers, Governor Lawal says the contract is worth over 5.9 billion naira. It's part of his commitment to the development of education.
We are unveiling today with a total contract value of 5,917,330,703.95 kobo. Represent a strategic intervention aimed at transforming the landscape of basic education in our state. These are not mere contracts. They are deliberate investment in the intellectual future of Zamfara. The funds are being deployed through a matching grant scheme between the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and the Zamfara state government.
Governor Lawal also highlighted some achievements recorded under the Agile project.
So far, 115 solar-powered boreholes have been constructed. 750 toilet units with water reticulation have been built. 590 classrooms renovated, and 9,906 three-seater desks provided for use in the renovated classroom.
The Zamfara State Coordinator, Agile Project, and the Executive Secretary of the State Universal Basic Education speak further on the benefits of the project.
This, the distribution of these awards that His Excellency did definitely will affect the lives of the students and also the adolescent girls in Zamfara State. It will increase enrollment, retention, and even completion of girls in schools.
You know, infrastructure development is one of the key important factors for child to provide enabling environment for a child to be able to learn.
The technical service providers are expected to complete and deliver their projects within 4 weeks.
Into a bit of politics, Chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Taraba State, Abubakar Bawa, has dismissed concerns over the defection of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to the African Democratic Congress. Mr. Bawa described the former Vice President as a desperate politician driven by an insatiable ambition to lead the country at all costs. TVC News senior reporter Olabi Adenisi filed in this report.
Since Nigeria's return to democracy, Taraba State has remained a stronghold of the PDP. In the last general elections, the party secured overwhelming victories from the presidential to the governorship elections, with Atiku, the then PDP's presidential flag bearer, receiving substantial votes in the state. However, a cross-section of voters are saying that Atiku's move to the ADC might weaken the PDP's dominance, citing his considerable followership across the state.
From the point of view, 2027 election is going to be tough. Looking at the coalition is coming up with this powerful.
But I want to assure you that no matter what the former vice president did in terms of party affiliation, Taraba State will constantly be PDP state.
However, the PDP state chairman thinks otherwise. He reiterates that the party remains solid and unaffected by Atiku's political decisions.
Look, let me tell you, you are witnessing everything in Taraba. Almost every day we are receiving the campaigns from other parties to PDP. So Taraba is not going to any place. We are with our governor, we remain in PDP.
He further described the former vice president as overly ambitious, stating that these traits makes him incapable of maintaining loyalty to any political party.
In the APC, he came to PDP to look for ticket. We gave him the ticket. Now, he wants to go to another party to be given ticket. So I don't think, personally, I don't rate him as a party man. He is just somebody who always wants to get ticket from a platform.
Meanwhile, the ADC's chairman in Taraba State says the era of PDP's dominance is coming to an end. He revealed that thousands of PDP supporters have indicated their willingness to join the ADC ahead of the 2027 general elections.
And Taraba's ADC, as far as ADC is concerned, we are put all our arms and hands together to make sure that come 2027, from councillor level to the state government, inshallah, ADC will take over based on preparation that we are putting on the ground.
Political analysts are now watching closely to see if the ADC can translate this momentum into electoral success and challenge the PDP's long-standing hold on Taraba's politics.
And outside Nigeria, Israel has launched a ground-on-air assault on the city of Deir al-Balah in the central Gaza. This is the first time a ground operation will be launched in the city. There are thousands of displaced persons from southern Gaza and area, and there are unconfirmed reports of Israeli hostages held there. The United Nations and other humanitarian agencies relocated key part of the operations to Deir al-Balah from Rafah after Israeli forces entered the south of the Gaza Strip more than a year ago. At least 115 Palestinians across Gaza have been killed while trying to get food at the Zikim crossing in the north, an aid point in Rafah, and Khan Yunis in the south. But that's it on TVC News this hour. For more updates on the stories and monitoring, you can visit our website on www.tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. On YouTube, we are live at TVC News Nigeria. Thanks for watching.
In a world where news never sleeps, we're taking a giant leap into the future. We at TVC Communications are proud to introduce a new era in news broadcasting. But first, let me introduce my special friend, Midday AI. Hi, Midday human. Is it time to come out yet? Yes, indeed it is. And you can bring your friends along. Meet our new AI anchors, speaking your language and sharing your stories. From English, good day. These are the news headlines, to Pidgin,
better country people, on a good evening.
Yoruba,
Ekaro, Ekudede Asikoyi, Shedadalabayi,
Igbo,
Ndewo, Auto Innovation, Ahambu Obada Samson Ejiro,
and Hausa.
Mutane na sanar da zuwa, sunana Rakia Abdulkarim kuma kana kallon TVC News.
We are bringing the news closer to you, faster, smarter, and always reliable. And together, we are shaping the future of news for every Nigerian, everywhere. Innovation, connection, and trust. The future of news is here.
TVC News, first with breaking news. And now first in Nigeria with AI news anchors.
From the beeping mainframes of the 1960s to the smartphone in your pocket, and now machines that can think, learn, and speak like us. This is Technifire. Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Awujale. On this show, we connect the dots between the past, present, and the future of technology. We revisit the genius of yesterday's breakthroughs, the microchip, the internet, and the first robot arm. And we dive into tomorrow, AI that can create art, machines that can heal the body, and tech that's reshaping how we live and work. Every week, we explore where we have been, where we are, and where we are going. This isn't about gadgets. It's about the people, the possibilities, and the power of imagination. Welcome to the conversation. Welcome to the future. Welcome to Technifire.
Trade, security, revenue. How does the Nigeria Customs Service balance it all? Find out every Tuesday in the evening on Customs Duty, your ultimate guide to customs operations, trade facilitation, and national security. Join us as we break down customs policies, answer your questions, and bring you exclusive insights on customs operations. Stay informed, stay ahead. Customs Duty, every Tuesday at 6:30 in the evening, only on TVC.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to journalists' Hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays, 1:30 p.m.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and welcome to Labor Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be focusing on the workshop held in Nairobi, Kenya, focused on fair recruitment practices across the world. We also have news stories for you. We will be right back. It's the 68th General Meeting of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, themed the workplace, influence of technology, and AI in business sustainability.
The reality of us, when I say us, I mean both workers and employers, is that hardly can you be highly effective or efficient without AI, without the influence of technology. I say highly, because being efficient is not an issue now. Being effective is no more an issue for us now. But businesses need highly effective, highly efficient individuals to drive their system. And to be highly effective, highly efficient, AI has come to create that nexus between what your natural capacity can do and then what technology can help to enhance. So for us, it's the direction that businesses is going, it's the direction that global organizations are going, and we feel being the champion, because we're already becoming champion of AI and technology in this environment, being the champion also, we must create that platform where our members can get enlightened on the influence of AI and technology within the context of the operation.
Will technology remain our tool, or shall it become our master? Innovation must never eclipse human dignity. The brilliance of machines must never erase the world, right and aspiration of the human being, especially workers who made every enterprise possible.
The keynote speaker at the event emphasized the need for employers of labor to prioritize digital literacy training alongside inclusive and sustainable tech adoption.
AI is not machines versus human beings. It is not AI versus human beings. No, it is AI with human beings. It is a collaboration. And we are the ones that are going to drive this, right? So, and if a business is going to thrive, it's going to be a business that's able to strike that balance between technology, AI, and an enlightened and educated workforce. The association's president highlighted both domestic and global factors that have shaped Nigeria's economy in 2024. Ifeanyi Okoye commended the federal government reform efforts, including the Nigerian Tax Act 2024, which reduces company income tax to 25%, consolidates over 50 minor taxes, and provides relief for small businesses.
First policy is inevitable for the economy to grow. We have manufacturers all over the country. For any manufacturer to survive, he has to sell whatever is manufacturing. And the basic way to sell is to sell back to Nigerians. And if I have stock and you are buying the same thing I'm making from foreigners, I don't know exactly what you mean. That means you're asking the local company to shut down. So we are congratulating the government for ever thinking about that, and we're asking again for solid implementation in that aspect.
Stakeholders at the event also urged the government to address existing policy gaps in the technology sector. It was concluded at the event that AI is not replacing us, but elevating the jobs that we do. It was also emphasized that ethics must be prioritized at all levels to ensure mutual trust. Across Africa, the issue of fair recruitment for migrant workers is gaining momentum, and now stakeholders are taking action. In Nairobi, Kenya, leaders from labor unions, the media, and recruitment agencies gathered to develop a unified framework that protects migrant workers at every stage of their journey, from their home countries, through transit, and at their final destinations. During the workshop, I met with Sophia Amimo, founder of Domestic Workers Returnees Kenya, known for giving voice to the voiceless. She tells me about a domestic worker named Paris who left Kenya to work in Qatar through an agent. Upon arrival, she was informed by her new employers that she had failed their internal medical screening.
Ulienda hivi, nilikuja huku nilikuwa nimepimwa huko kwetu, nikaambiwa niko sawa. Sasa nilifika huku kupelekwa hospitali, nikapatikana sijapita hiyo kipimo. Sasa ndio nikaletwa huku kwa huyu mtu wa kampuni ya huku, nikaambiwa.
According to the International Labour Organization ILO, over 169 million men and women live and work outside their countries of origin in pursuit of decent work and better livelihoods.
Paris, before leaving Kenya to Qatar, they conduct a medical test, which she has just arrived in Qatar, and they're telling her like she's not medically fit to work. But in this case, if you look from the base of the matter is that the person who conducted that medical, which right now from the letter she sent, she's being asked to sign that when she returns back to the country, she will pay this money to the agent, because there is an agent that is mentioned there. Why should Paris pay? Yet it's not her fault. The person who conducted the medical should be the one to pay for this money, because it was his responsibility. For leaving Kenya, with all the countries that I have been, the test is taken here in Kenya as a Kenyan. There are specific places we go for this medical. If you're going to Dubai, there is a specific place you have to go for that medical. So the person who should be responsible to pay for this money, whom the agent should be writing this letter that they are giving to this young lady, should be the doctor that conducted the test.
In response, the African Regional Organization of the International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC Africa, organized a fair recruitment capacity building workshop for trade union members and other key stakeholders. Sophia Amimo and other stakeholders revealed that thousands of African workers are lured into precarious jobs abroad, often burdened by excessive fees, deception, and abuse, all of which violate their fundamental human rights.
Africa as a whole has come together and is working towards making labor migration a safer space and a safe journey for those who are traveling. So I will also say that we should also be patient, and what I will say to the African nations is that when they join forces together, we can fight human trafficking, we can fight the rogue agencies, we can fight those who are making it so difficult for us or from every migrant worker. And not forgetting that we are advocating for equal pay because equal pay for equal work, because no one should be treated special from the other. So domestic work is real work, and we should be treated just as other workers. We should not be discriminated or seen like it is a dirty job or something.
The idea of workers not having to pay is grounded on international labor standards. The fact that you and I don't pay for our jobs, then why should a migrant worker be paying to acquire their jobs?
We do not get scandalized and get into problems when somebody is in distress. What do we do? What do we have toll-free numbers? How do we help?
It is a common fact today that the world is going digital, and these are part of the transformation we are talking about. And when we are talking about addressing transition, we are talking about blending technology with traditional approaches that trade unions adopt in organizing and protecting the labor rights and human rights of migrant workers.
Though Paris is stuck in Qatar and currently unreachable, there is hope, especially from those who were once in similar precarious working conditions, that trade unionists, government officials, and representatives of recruitment agencies will develop unified advocacy messages aimed at driving collective action to promote ethical and fair recruitment practices.
The role of workers is that they should actually lobby and advocate for labor migration legal framework that promotes and supports workers in countries of origin, transit, and destination countries. So they can do that by campaigning for the ratification of key labor migration international labor standards or ILO conventions, and also for the ratification of the Africa Union protocols that have developed over time. Ratification also has to be done along regional blocks, because regional blocks have also been speaking to issues to do with fair recruitment and labor migration. Whilst for the role of government, we think that the role of government firstly is to promote a conducive labor market that attracts citizens to stay in countries of origin than to migrate. And if citizens are to migrate, migration should be a choice.
Nothing much has been achieved. Either if much has been done, but on the side of achievement, it is very low. So enforcing and ensuring the implementation of fair recruitment is the role of all stakeholders. Somebody like me, I've seen the situation deteriorate in my own country of origin, Kenya, so much so that I've ever thought of even suggesting to the ILO that maybe the African Union should even look for a platform where AfriPol can actually come in to try and address this humongous problem. But these are innocent people. They've not committed any crime. They are not wanted over any debts or issues back home. But whatever the circumstances, they themselves are not ready to be facilitated so that they can go back home to safety. That's one among the most ambiguous situations, which is very heartbreaking and disappointing.
Various stakeholders in this noble cause should make sure or should ensure that migrants are part of the whole process, because in the first place, you cannot move this agenda without them. If it is them to benefit, I think first and foremost, the governments have got to embrace and appreciate that migration is here to stay. They cannot miss it. It will go on. And also, those who are dealing in the business of recruitment should also understand that they are not exporting commodities. Civil society organizations, international community should all know or begin to realize that the migrant workers are here with us in our next proximity. Therefore, if we such exist as migrant workers, we think an identification and recognition of us at any level, at all levels, is key and step one for our welfare, for our justice in any case, for whatever that may happen or any abuses that arise within our movements.
On the Profiling TV segment this week, I'll be speaking with the General Secretary of ITUC Africa, Joel Odige. Tells me it's important for government to do the needful towards ensuring that migration laws are strengthened across the continent. A lot has been happening in the world of work in Africa. Right now, as we speak, some few days ago in Nairobi, Kenya, ITUC Africa decided to come up with a capacity building towards ensuring fair recruitment across the continent. Can you tell us why it's expedient for ITUC Africa to take this bold move at this point in time?
Yeah, quickly just to say that indeed, it is possible to have fair ethical recruitment on the continent if all parties or stakeholders align to the process genuinely. But because we know that it takes collective effort of ensuring accountability in that regard, as trade unions, we have prioritized sharpening the skills, advocacy competence of trade unions to be able to contribute to that realization, which is why we had the meeting, the workshop in Nairobi, Kenya last week. We brought in recruitment agencies. We brought in migrant workers themselves. And then in the course of that meeting, the focus was how do we achieve the messaging, advocacy messages that could help galvanize fair recruitment practices on the continent. Thank you.
Can you tell us what are the challenges that trade unions face towards advancing the rights of workers when it comes to fair recruitment?
Okay, yeah, first is that migrant workers are one category of the different categories of workers that trade unions respond or cater for. For migrant workers, it's peculiar in the sense that, given their status, they will have to deal with quite a number of issues, immigration issues around contracts, issues around the opportunity to enjoy freedom of association rights, even issues around access to justice, infractions around physical torture, infractions around sexual harassment, infractions even bordering on an overwork with no adequate compensation. And then, of course, there is the crisis for most of our migrant workers, especially those who go to the Middle East, the slavery practices that is linked to the kafala sponsorship system. So all of these are infractions that workers face, including occupational health and safety concern that has to do with how they live and work safely with their employers and the place of work. These challenges are myriad, but as we say, as trade unions, the idea is not to lament them. It's to ask ourselves, how do we contribute to solving the challenges that migrant workers are faced? And in solving the challenges, we have agreed that it is critical that we solve these challenges together with them. And in most cases, we flip the challenges out of opportunities for advancing the rights of these categories of workers.
During the capacity building, there was this conversation as regards bilateral agreement. How has bilateral agreement from point of origin to point of destination helped the advancement of decent work when it comes to migrant workers?
Okay, thank you. There are bilateral labor migration agreements of different kinds. First is that there is a bilateral labor migration agreement. You could also have multilateral labor migration agreement. But the ones that are popular and highly utilized in the governance of labor migration is a bilateral labor migration agreement between governments of countries of origin and those of countries of destination. What we find is that first, there is a prescribed process to drafting bilateral labor migration agreement. In most cases, we find out that the processes are not effectively followed. But equally important is that the provisions in the bilateral labor migration agreement do not have right protection. It is focused in most cases just on demand and supply of labor without the consideration for the protection of the right of the migrant workers. So in most bilateral labor migration agreements, workers, people are treated as commodities. And these are the things we have seen, and we said, how do we reverse that together with government? In reversing that, together with the African Union and the International Labour Organization, guidelines on how to develop labor migration agreements have been developed. When these guidelines are not followed, in most cases, you find that a bilateral labor migration agreement, the one we refer to in acronyms and BLMAs, are usually supply-driven. Rather, let me say demand-driven. Those who are demanding labor, in other words, countries of destination, are the ones that will bring the agreement and ask countries of origin supply driven side to then just endorse. So what we find is that those who want this labor, these workers, are the ones who design, develop the agreement, and just get countries of origin, mostly countries from Africa, to sign. Countries of destination, mostly countries from the Middle East, Europe, and others. And then African government will just sign. When you sign, you find out that the protection of the rights of these workers are not, the mechanisms for the protection of the rights of these workers are not adequately provided for in the agreement. The model, the guideline the ILO and the African Union have prescribed is such that governments of countries of origin and countries of destination should try as much as possible to develop BLMAs in a tripartite approach. In other words, involve governments, involve employers, involve trade unions. So that when you do this together, you can, this process can help contribute to better recruitment process, can help improve the governance of the agreement, can help improve the monitoring of the agreement, and ultimately can also help to ensure win-win for the different parties involved. There is also the trade union bilateral agreement. In other words, trade unions of countries of origin and trade unions of countries of destination. This is an initiative of workers and their trade union organizations to say, how do we also contribute to supporting the process of the BLMAs, the process of ensuring right and protection for migrant workers? When we come together as trade unions from the different countries, we want to see how we can contribute to the monitoring, to the accountability process of ensuring the right of migrant workers. And on the continent of Africa, there have been quite a number of bilateral trade union agreements. For instance, the Nigerian Labour Congress and the General Trade Union Federation of Bahrain have one. The Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union from Kuwait has one. Both share one. You have the Congress of Trade Unions, that is of Kenya, and Trade Union from Lebanon, they have one. The Central Trade Union Federation of Central Confederation of Ethiopian Trade Unions, and the FENASOR, a National Trade Union Center in Lebanon. They also have one such a trade union bilateral agreement to try to help drive protection for migrant workers. And then between governments, the BLMAs that I talked about, there are also quite a number, and new ones are even coming up. You have that of BLMAs between the government of Uganda and the government of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. You have the one between the government of Kenya and the government of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. You have the one between the government of Ghana and the government of Saudi Arabia. Different BLMAs in that sense you have.
Can you tell us what is ITUC doing, especially for countries at the point of destination that do not sign any bilateral agreement towards advancing the rights of migrant workers?
Yeah, this is the advocacy we are pushing. First is to say that you do not need to have a bilateral agreement before you set up yourself for good engagement with possible countries that want to seek your collaboration. What you need is to follow the guide. The guide is there. What you need is to establish a robust country governance arrangement that is tripartite and sometimes tripartite clause, so that when we say tripartite clause, those outside the tripartite arrangement of workers, employers, and government, it could also be maybe migrant communities. It could also be maybe some civil society organizations that are very active in that work. To bring everybody together, have a working, functional national governance arrangement. When you do this and you practice it, when prospective partners come to want to negotiate BLMAs with you, it will not be difficult to insert the right provisions in the agreement.
I can see that ITUC Africa and some other international organizations are collaborating towards using technology to fight injustice that some migrant workers are faced with. Can you tell us more about this?
Yes, we embrace technology very strongly as one of such, but we also, in embracing technology, we talk very strongly about secondly, is that we have experimented with it and we are seeing results. For instance, we developed what we call the Migrant Recruitment Advisor. It's an online recruitment tool available online for potential migrant workers who, in wanting to leave their country, for instance, Nigeria, there are a number of migrant organizations in Nigeria, migrant recruitment agency in Nigeria. We put them online, we feed their profile online, and then we ask the potential migrant worker to, if you want to then migrate safely and orderly, and you want to do it with some predictability, we encourage you to go online, identify those recruitment agencies, and initiate relationship with them. And then we also encourage you to go back to that space. What was your experience like? Share your experience in that space. And then we also share the report with the recruitment agencies. And then they themselves can use the feedback from the migrant workers to improve the way they do things. This way, we contribute to ethical recruitment possibilities.
Thank you very much for your time.
Anytime. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.
Now this is tomato mix. Even after adding water, you can still taste the tomato flavor.
With Tasty Tom Tomato Mix, you can cook any of your customers' favorite meals.
No color changing like traffic lights.
Tasty Tom will surely give you value for money, because Tasty Tom Tomato Mix is thick. A little is enough to get your desired quantity of stew and soup. No unfair deal.
Tasty Tom makes me so happy. The taste is always on point.
And it doesn't color your meat or your chicken.
Because of Tasty Tom Tomato Mix, the taste of my food never changes. So my customers keep coming.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food, so I buy quality from the onset. Use Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix.
Tasty Tom, for tasty meals good for you. Available in convenient sachets.
I'm Olika Adeladipo, Business Development Manager for Impex Traco West Africa Limited. I've been a client with Cornerstone since January 2015. I would say that Cornerstone has been very important to our business in two ways. Number one, I don't hate people. people. But when my car is hit, I'm sure that Cornerstone will cover me conveniently without any stress. That's on a personal note. Then on the general business side, because marine insurance is important to our business, they're always up and doing with that. I've not had any reason to complain once. What has impressed me the most with Cornerstone is the personal touch. Anytime there is an incident with my car, the first question I'll be asking, Mr. Kayode, are you okay? Because the first thing is I have to be alive. And that gives me some level of balance with them that these guys have got my back. Cornerstone has changed my orientation with insurance in this part of the world. They have changed my mentality.
Cornerstone, the future assured.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Retired police officers stage protest in Abuja over insufficient pensions, say creation of police pension board. Nigerian Meteorological Agency predicts widespread rain, thunderstorms from Monday to Wednesday across major parts of the country. And outside Nigeria, Israel launches ground attack on Gaza's Del al-Bala for first time as IDF kill 115 aid seekers.
Wonderful goal!
Hello and thank you for joining us on TVC News at 1. We're tracking development in the nation's capital where retired police officers are protesting the insufficient pension they received after serving in the force. The protesting retirees led by activist Omoyele Sowore rallied from the newly added force headquarters to the National Assembly gate to press home their demands. The officers recounted the paltry sums they got for retirement and heightened the call for the establishment of a police pension board to replace the current contributed pension scheme which they have been subscribed to.
And those ones who are not dead are dead working people. They are working dead. So we decided today that the Nigerian people will join hands with you to fight this battle once and for all.
It shows that these people are wicked to us. It shows that they do not love us. A situation or a family that has up to 4 children and you love 3 and then you hate 1. It therefore means that there is bound to be quarreling and fighting in that very family. You love the military, you love the DSS, you love the civilians that are working in the National Assembly, that all these people, they were exonerated, they have gone out from contributory pension scheme, leaving behind the police that have been sleeping in the bush, sleeping in the forest, sleeping in the rain. Oh,
till 2004, I was not given 10 kobo. I did NYC. I was only given paid from 2004 to 2017, and I was given 2 million naira. I become a nuisance to my family. I'm a nuisance to my neighbors, and I'm a nuisance to my immediate family. Then where do you want me to go? I can't eat. I barely eat once a day. Sometimes I take common lifted to survive that day.
The Nigerian Police Force asked the protesting retirees to ensure that the exercise is not only peaceful but exemplary. In a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, although some of this account are grounded in facts and driven by good faith, others have been marred by misinformation emotional manipulation and calculated distortions designed to discredit the government and undermine the present leadership of the Nigerian Police Force. He emphasized that this is a call to institutional responsibility, a test of maturity and discipline. We turn our attention to Delta State, where Shekiri natives are holding simultaneous peaceful protests at the Nigeria Port Authority in Warri South and Escravos Terminal in Warri Southwest. The protest is on INEC ward delineation in Warri Federal Constituency. The protesters are demanding justice and fair allocation of wards in the 3 local government areas. And former deputy leader Warri South legislative arm is also a community leader in Igborodo. Raymond Pira joins me on the news this side. It's good to have you join us. We've seen the Delta State government, I think this was in May, affirming that the ward delineation exercise carried out by INEC in these 3 local government areas was constitutional and was also following the principle of justice and equity. That was what that statement said. But what do you think, or why do you think the protest should be taking place now?
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you, viewers. First, to correct my own introduction, I was not deputy leader, former deputy leader of Warri South, but Warri Southwest. Having said that, the reason why this press statement, because people are looking at it like it's a protest. It's not really a protest, but we're just, in those facilities to make statements, categorical statements. And the reason we are doing that is not far-fetched. Can you hear me?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yes. The reason we are doing what we are doing is not far-fetched. We all know that the Supreme Court gave judgments that Warri Federal Constituency should be re-delineated. However, that judgment did not give INEC the power to take over the job of National Boundary Commission or the National Population Commission, because we have seen that what INEC has done and what they are proposing, they've taken the job of those commissions alongside their own job. We have seen situations where they went as far as Ondo State to create units and wards and import it into Warri Federal Constituency. And even the places they went to in Ondo State, they are even, some of the places are river, some of the places are thick forests where you do not even have a pole, not talk of human being that is living there. They did the same in Edo State. They took some from Burutu local government into Warri Federal Constituency. They took some from Udu local government. All these are even another senatorial district in Delta States. We are saying nobody, no Shekiri man is against the ward delineation. But we are saying the process with which, the way and manner in which INEC is going about it is what we are frowning at. We are saying the process has been compromised. It's biased. Particularly the committee that's been set up to look at the process.
Talk to us about what's been the immediate and potential implication this has had in that constituency in terms of, proper representation of the ethnic groups in that federal constituency.
One professor, Rhoda Gomez, who is an introduction in this particular committee, because showing what they're showing to the world now is not a reflection of what they met on ground or what the field worker came back with from the field. So we are saying that INEC should do the right thing. We are not saying favor us. We are saying do what you are ought to do. According to your guideline, they have the guidelines, so they know what to do. So until they do that, we won't stop pressing. But we have given a categorical statement on this matter today. And if INEC fails to do what they ought to do, we have said too that all the facilities in our environment in Warri Kingdom, every ROC facility, critical facilities in this Nigeria that is domiciled within the Warri Federal Constituency or that is shaking the land, we will shut them down. Because it's like we are too quiet, and our quietness and our peaceful nature is being taken for granted.
Raymond,
So
INEC made a statement, saying that consultations were made ahead of this decision, and it was endorsed by major stakeholders in that region.
Yes.
But that's a fine place to leave the conversation for now. Raymond Pereira, former deputy leader, Warri Southwest Legislative Arm in Warri State. Thank you for talking to us at this time.
You're welcome.
And now to politics. The Edo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has declared its support for Governor Monday Okpewolo over his recent comment directed at the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi. The party made its position known shortly after concluding its primaries ahead of the by-elections scheduled for the 16th of August in the Ovia North, East, Ovia Southwest, and Edo Central senatorial district. Chairman of the party, Jared Chenebe, expressed confidence that the APC will come out victorious in the upcoming polls.
A lot of criticism all over the press about the statement our governor made when he was receiving one of the remaining of PDP in Edo Central, where he said that Peter Obi has to take permission before he lands. And I think the governor was right in saying that it is proper for him to tell the governor before he will come, so that and we support him in whatever he's saying. So we thank God, we thank our party, and we thank the people that came from Abuja to conduct these primaries. We are grateful to all of you. And again, now that we have candidates that have emerged in our various primaries today, we want to immediately hit the ground running for campaign. We are going to campaign as if we have never campaigned in this state before.
All right, after the break, we'll speak with a stakeholder on this recent statement made in Edo State. Still ahead on TVC News at 1. State government issues a stern warning to traders operating illegally beneath bridges on Lagos Island. We'll have more of this after the break. Stay with us.
Power, politics, and accountability on fireworks. No seat is too high, no question too hard. If they hold an office, they are on the hot seat. If they have power, they answer to the people and answer the hard questions.
Only strong men lead, not weak men who don't have knowledge, who don't have capacity, who don't have access.
This is not just talk. This is fireworks.
Corruption started corruption in when you cannot send your animal to where they train police officers.
No filters, no favoritism, no fear, no holds barred, unbiased, unafraid, unfiltered.
Why should people elected into office and are being funded by the treasury of the state, and then their salary and allowances will be treated in secrecy?
Fireworks, only on TVC News.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thank you for staying with us on TVC News at 1. A reminder of our top stories. Retired police officers staged protest in Abuja over insufficient pensions, say creation of police pension board. Nigerian Meteorological Agency predicts widespread rain, thunderstorms from Monday to Wednesday across major parts of the country. And outside Nigeria, Israel launches ground attack on Gaza's Deir al-Balah for first time as IDF killed 115 aid seekers. Right, we go back to Edo State, where the chapter of the All Progressives Congress has declared its support for the governor of the state, Monday Okpewolo, over his recent comment directed at the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi. I'm joined by convener Edo Must Build Edo Initiative, Johnson Adamo. Joins me on the News at 1 to talk about this recent incident. Good to have you join us on the News at 1. How do you react to the statement by the party chairman asking supporters of the ADC and other parties that they leave the state for their own safety. Is this constitutional, and does this support the idea of fair play?
Thank you for having me once again. The issue in contention is a submission from our capacity governor, the governor of Edo State, and to the best of our knowledge, the governor submission statements and hamlets, they are advisory to Peter Obi. I think it's still on that note that the FPC chairman, the state chairman, is still standing on that. The governor's statements and hamlets, in the sense that he is advising Mr. Peter Obi, based on what has happened in the past, that anytime you want to visit Edo State, we definitely welcome you. But please do inform me as the chief security officer of the state, so that I can provide adequate security. So that I can provide adequate security for you in your during your stay in the state, to avert what happened in your last visit. Because based on the submission of what the governor said, you see, Peter Obi came into the state without informing the governor, and he went for a program, and at the end he gave 15 million. In the process of that, there was crisis, and 3 people lost their lives. And you know, one of the duties of His Excellency mandate is to protect the life of Edolites, which makes Edolites EDGs, Manta, Solar. So that's why we are all standing by the governor of submission that Peter will be, anytime you wish to visit Edo State, do the needful. You are a former governor, you know the procedure. You've in the past, you've arrested El-Rufai because El-Rufai breached the protocol in your state as a governor, and that was why El-Rufai was arrested. So you can do the same to a fellow governor. So our governor submissions are harmless, they are advisory. I think Nigeria should even commend him for being peaceful, at the same time for being proactive.
And with the party chair also, reiterating the statement, not so many persons, understood that statement as harmless, especially when he was referring to the recent coalition. But let me talk to you about the recent coalition, and how likely do you think it's going to impact the political atmosphere in Edo State, of course, ahead of the by-elections?
The present submission has nothing to do with by-election. We've done election in the past, and the Labour Party, which Peter Obi belonged to, was in the bylaws. We defeated them. Their candidate has no. I think he was able to score 5 votes, whatever. The obedience in Edo State do understand the directions where the state is going to. As far as we are concerned, the obedience of the few obedience who still believe in Peter Obi, they are very few and minor, and their protests or whatsoever may not have a significant impact on the elections. APC is grounded. We are on ground, and to the best of my knowledge, and I can strongly believe that we are going to win all the by-elections coming up.
And we've had statements from other parties beyond the ADC, like the Labour, saying that perhaps Edo is not giving them a safe space for them to campaign for the upcoming elections. But that's a fine place to leave the conversation for now. Convener Edo Must Build Edo Initiative, Johnson Adamu, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has issued a 3-day weather forecast for rains and thunderstorms across major parts of the country. The forecast shared on NIMET's official X handle indicates that the northern and southern and central regions should prepare for storms, moderate rains, and strong winds. States like Taraba, Adamawa, Kebbi, Borno, Yobe, Gombe, Bauchi, Sokoto, and Kaduna State will experience thunderstorms with rains. In the south, morning rains are expected in Enugu, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom, followed by moderate to heavy rainfall across Ebonyi, Abia, Edo, Ondo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom State. NIMET says the central region will experience cloudy conditions in the morning, with with increased chances of thunderstorms as the day progresses. Thunderstorm and rain are also expected in parts of the northern region. And here in Lagos, the state government has issued a stern warning to traders operating illegally beneath bridges on Lagos Island to immediately remove their stalls and wares. The directive was given by the Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Jacobo Wahab, at an inspection tour of key drainage infrastructure across Lagos Island, Parkview and Banana Island. Esther Mopariola reports.
Lagos Island, one of the city's busiest commercial zones, was the first stop for the inspection team led by the Commissioner for the Environment, Jacobo Wahab. The team assessed the status of ongoing drainage projects designed to reduce flooding across the state. The tour also revealed the return of illegal trading under the bridges that had previously been cleared in government-led cleanup exercises.
People can be recalcitrant, and we've said to them over time, we don't want to disrupt their economic activities, their life, their commercial activity. But when you want to do one or two things under a major infrastructure, we have to be very careful. It becomes a chicken and the egg, which comes first? Do we put that commercial interest over safety, environment, and security interest? You were there yourself. Are you happy with what you saw under the bridge today? No. So we just said to them, can you leave? So if at all you want to come back, let it be regulated, but not under those bridges.
The inspection moved on to Banana Island, where major upgrades to drainage infrastructure are underway as part of the state's wider flood mitigation plans. At Parkview Estate, the delegation was joined by former Lagos State Deputy Governor Femi Pedro, who praised the government's commitment and the visible progress made so far.
I'm very, very happy today that the government has listened to us. My special thanks to Governor Sanwo-Olu, the Honorable Commissioner, and his team. We've been on this for a while, but they brought me here and I could see a real solution. I could see that the drainage line has been expanded much deeper and is flowing directly into the lagoon. And they've assured me that in 3 months' time, this entire work will be completed. When it's completed, the flash flood will reduce.
This inspection underscored the state government's ongoing push to tackle flooding and highlighted the critical need for residents and traders to comply with environmental regulations. Esther Mopariola, TVC News.
A former head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Professor Ladapo Afolabi, has attributed saying that the rush for certificates rather than competence is a major factor contributing to unemployment in Nigeria. We have details in this report.
The event was organized to commemorate the 68th anniversary of the Postgraduate College of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, with the theme Postgraduate Studies in Nigeria, the Past, the Present, and the Future. The guest speaker, Professor Jonathan Babalola, condemned the growing trend of plagiarized research works by students and the sale of degrees allegedly perpetrated by some lecturers and institutions, describing them as serious challenges facing postgraduate education in the country. He urged students to pursue problem-solving, industry-driven research that addresses national development needs.
Many Nigerians are certificate-driven. For postgraduate education to be successful, we shouldn't be certificate-driven. What you are able to do should be what determines what you earn or the type of job you occupy. If you just present a PhD certificate and then they give you salary of a PhD, that is not what we are expecting.
In his remarks, Professor Ladapo Afolabi lamented the lack of industry-ready graduates, which he said has continued to worsen the unemployment situation in the country.
That's why you have a lot of unemployment, because the kind of training we are having is not focusing on the market. So we must have a training that will be relevant, will be ready to serve the market, and will also enable you to be self-employed, should not have jobs, so there will not be any unemployment.
For this octogenarian, Nigerians, especially the youths, must continue to pursue quality education to remain relevant in a competitive world.
You won't know what it is that you are a black man
until you leave the shores of Nigeria. And the only way in which we can rub shoulders with the rest of the world is through intellect.
Let us look forward to the new emerging opportunity that lie ahead in this era of embedded artificial intelligence to shape the future of postgraduate education in Obafemi Awolowo University.
The event also featured awards presented to distinguished alumni who have passed through the college since its establishment in 1963. Rafiu Hamid, TVC News, Ile-Ife, Osun State.
The Ministry of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, has asked youth to take full advantage of the numerous programs initiated by President Bola Tinubu's administration to improve their lives. Senior reporter Ayodeji Muradia reports.
It was a grand celebration at the Democracy Park in Akure, the Ondo State capital, as indigenes and non-indigenes gathered to mark a decade of purposeful leadership by the Deji of Akure. The event attracted top dignitaries including government officials, senators, members of the House of Representatives, traditional rulers, and religious leaders. In his address, Governor Loki Aiyedatiwa called on all sons and daughters of Akure Kingdom to work with his administration in its effort to transform the community.
I must emphasize that our administration recognizes the significant position of Akure as the capital of Ondo State. It is in this regard that we have initiated several developmental projects in Akure in pursuit of our urbanization agenda.
Minister of Youth Development Ayodele Olawande, while commending President Bola Tinubu's youth-centered programs, encouraged young Nigerians to stay patriotic and refrain from all actions that could bring disrepute to the country.
Patience, we do it. Putting all structures together, initiative, getting back to skill development, working with other agencies, parastatal, to make sure that we stabilize the economy. And everything that the president is doing now is at the picture. We have already realized that we have a youth in sports, we have a youth in entertainment, we have a youth in agri.
One of the highlights of the ceremony was the presentation of awards to notable indigenes of Akure in recognition of their outstanding contributions to the growth and development of the town.
It's a way of encouraging those guys to actually showcase what they can actually do so that they can also be recognized. And not only that, it's a way of challenging us to actually do much more better so that, we can contribute to the development of the community.
It's an indication that all of us must come together as a community to develop our land. Nobody will develop Akure for us. All of us will develop Akure. And I thank the KPAC for bringing all of us together.
What I have in mind is passion, commitment. I want to encourage all sons and daughters of Akure to put oneness into all that we do.
Obalade Toyibo Ogunlade Aladelusi ascended the throne 10 years ago. Residents say his reign has brought unprecedented peace and progress to Akure. Ayodeji Moradeyo, TVC News, Akure.
You're still on to TVC News at 1. We'll be back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thank you for staying with us. The Federation of Muslim Women's Association in Nigeria has advocated more support to eradicate gender-based violence. Form 1 says it remains a persistent challenge in the last 4 decades. Chadime Bameye reports.
For 40 years, the Federation of Muslim Women's Association in Nigeria have built a structure of support, one that provides Muslim women with access to education, religious knowledge, and economic empowerment. From just 2 nursery classrooms in 1985, the association now runs a full-fledged school system, catering to over 1,000 pupils from nursery to secondary level. But even as they celebrate educational strides, gender-based violence remains a recurring concern. In 2024 alone, the Nigerian police recorded over 17,000 cases of gender-based violence, a number experts say grossly underrepresents the actual scale due to underreporting and weak documentation systems.
There is hardly any week that will pass without us solving 1, 2, 3 problems that have to do with gender-based violence.
As the organization marks its 40th anniversary, the vision is to reach more women, equip them with life skills, and position them as change makers in their communities.
What we have encouraged is that education, whether it's in the Islamia form or whether it's in the Western form, should be the right of every individual. In areas where there are lack of schools or not enough schools, or schools are too far for
that insecurity of women facing violence, either at the domestic level, at the official level, or even by band.